Okay. Getting there. It's all the small screws pulled. Okay. I don't know how well this board's going to lift. Ooh, whoa. Lifts quite easily. Let's see what we got here. All the buttons are going to try to fall out at us. I don't see anything on the button itself. Let's see if the pad looks like an issue. The pad goes all over the place. Oh no, that's going to be bad. Pad doesn't look bad either. Don't see anything wrong with it. Oh, this is going to be a pain and a half to reassemble. All the screws going everywhere. See if that sticky stuff made it onto anything it shouldn't have. Oh yeah, looks like we might have something down there. We can go take a better look at it with the magnifying glasses here, and I'll see if it really looks like something or just maybe the way the board's colored. Oh yeah. Something definitely doesn't look right over there. This little component here. See if I magnify in again without doing too bad here. We'll just try a 4x zoom as I magnify on my finger. See if it'll focus in on it. Some of it looks dark. Chip just looks like it's been gooified, I guess you could say. I think that's a Fallout 4 term. It's not actually destroyed, so looks like it might just have a lot of goo on it. Let's see if we can get this to clean up. And, ooh, that runs into those. Oh, interesting how the two boards connect together. Technically run it without any of its casing, probably, if I really wanted. Let's see how much we can clean off of that and see how much better we can make it look. Go with a couple more Q-tips here. Okay. Liquid is one of the worst things to deal with in a controller or in anything, just because it's unpredictable. You don't know what it's going to do. Basically, just you want to keep things clean and liquid free. Okay, contacts look a little cleaner there now. Well, yes, let's see. I don't know if this will power up without the rest of it, but let's hook up a controller without a controller. Oxymoron there, right? Let's see. I guess we can technically just hook this up here and see if we can get any power through this. Just to minimize the amount of boards we're dealing with. Could probably just replace this board here, but I have heard a rumor that the boards are married together, but that could just be a rumor. Still not getting anything on that. Let's try reconnecting the other board and see what we can do. Now we cleaned up another circuit. Really require both boards to actually initialize. Pretty sure when they dropped it, they disconnected these because I didn't feel them really pull apart that much. Could just be the boards got unmarried. Let's do some marriage counseling here. I'll get on magnify here too. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. Okay, the boards are clicked back together. Still outside of their innards, but don't need the plastic parts to actually make things work. Put this back up and see if we can get a spark of life, and so we know we've made some progress. Nope, still no progress. Definitely a no-go there. Well, you're going to have to bear with me for a second here while I run and grab out the graphite pen, which I left in my service vehicle. So I will be right back. It should take only a minute. Again, sorry about that. Okay. Pro grade, it's called. It's graphite pen. Oh, let's see if we can get those contacts cleaned off a little better on the back side of this. Pull this board back loose from the other board. Now we just go through, clean off those contacts. Try not to get in there too hard. You don't want to be breaking them off. They're very small. The micro soldering that would be required would not be worth the effort. Most other components look pretty shiny. They're the only ones that look a little dull and worn. Okay. Pull these off. Go down in here. It's a pretty large capacitor down here, which is why I wonder if that's part of the power circuit way down there, but that's kind of weird if it is, though. Like, I wonder if it brings the power over here from up there, and that's where it gets processed. I mean, there's a lot of big capacitors on this side, too. And some big coils here. So I wonder if that's where it brings the power up to what's needed for different stuff. And being that the liquid went over to this component on this side, it's hard to say, though. Like I said, creators know really what's going on, or people that are really into electronics and can trace down all the components and know in detail what's going on. Oscillations and inductances and all kinds of stuff that I get the general gist of, but quite complicated and not worth learning to fix an Xbox One controller. So the problem with these is by the time you've done the research and everything else and become a pro at fixing Xbox One controllers, I mean, is it really worth fixing them in that much detail? Now, say this was a iPhone or a Samsung phone or something. Phones are a little bit more worth putting more time into to learn what exactly is going on. Oh, wait. Didn't notice that one. Looks like we have some corrosion right there by this one contact. Hook it back up and see if we got any improvement here. Still nothing. Okay. Let's try it with the other board. I'm thinking we may have a lost cause here. They might have fried one of those ICs, and fry an IC, you're pretty well done. It is not worth... Ooh. Looks like we got a light up of some kind there. We may have this sucker coming back to life yet. The light's flickering. It's trying to come to life. Pull this, reconnect it. Let's see what we get here. Woo! That did it. Graphite pen saves the day again. Now that we got power again, now we need to get it back together. And that should be the fun part. Because there was a lot of buttons that popped out of this thing. Which obviously is just going to be paint all over the place. And, I mean, I could probably play the rest of the video with it going on. You got this little thing here, the headphone jack piece that they added in there. Now I know why they didn't have one in here before, because one more thing you got to hold in place while you're reassembling the whole thing. Yeah, this is going to be a horrible reassembly. I guess I can do some of it on camera here. Hopefully this video is not too long that YouTube won't accept it, and then I'll be annoyed. Oh, almost half tempted to just desolder these and resolder them when I'm done. What if I can just throw this... Here, we're going to finally break these loose. It's probably easier to put these back in than it's going to be to get that board back in with it in the way. Okay, we'll just pull all these out of their connectors. Basically, we got a full disassembly on this thing. Probably should start quoting a little higher if there's no power then. Of course, I can't pass the price of the controller then. Who's going to fix the controller unless it's a special edition or something. But I mean, controller special editions are $74. I think ones with the headphone jacks are like $60 or something. I don't know, I haven't bought a controller in a while. Okay. Pull this down out of the way. I wonder if we can get these to slide through here somehow, maybe. So we can push this little piece back here and maybe slide these through and then put them back when we're done. Well, I guess it's out of the way enough. I mean, it's way down here now. We just gotta drop all these little buttons back into place. Okay, the Y goes on top. And at least, as usual, Microsoft did leave notched parts. So that at least you can figure out where your buttons are going. Because I don't always remember the configuration from the back side. I mean, who looks at the controller from inside? Okay, I remember A always goes at the bottom, though. That's like the most frequently used button on the planet. Okay. And when I did say 2 hours on the repair, I did mean that I did a little bit of research and seen if there's anything else out there about why controllers don't power on. See if it was anything else that I hadn't heard of or anything, which I didn't see too much out there about like just randomly shutting off. There is the issue where you can have software happen where your software gets all corrupted and the controller won't power on correctly due to the software being corrupted. But I think you still get a power on, it just won't connect, is most of the time that problem. Okay. That. Okay, so we got most of the buttons back in there. I think I still got one more. I think I threw it possibly up in there. Nope, I should have though. But half the buttons went everywhere when I went to pull all that loose. Ooh, let's get the multimeter turned back off here before I go draining my batteries. 9 volts or something I don't usually have rechargeables of, so I'll waste batteries as I'm dropping things. Maybe it's time to sweep in the shop. I'm getting too much junk on my floor. Okay. So I got X to put in. You just spin them in there and they drop into place at some point. I'd say you could sit the thing down and do this, but it doesn't exactly work so well neither. Because then your buttons are going to start pushing up back at you and you'll have a pain of a time there too. Okay. Oops, sorry to bump the camera again, guys. I definitely need to get a better mount that won't move when I bump it. Remember I told you about keeping good track of things? Well, this is what happens when you don't. You just can't find what you're looking for. Get the thing working, you can't get it back together because you're missing parts. I am missing the little media button. Not that most people even use that button, but I'm pretty sure my customers want their button back. And I don't want to have to take this back apart to this level just to put one button back in later. And that's what I talked about in one of my other videos. You can have all your buttons and everything else and just have it all laid out and be like, ah, it's on my table somewhere. I don't have to worry about it. And then magically, somehow, somewhere, it finds a way to vanish underneath the little rubber piece. So there's my missing button. Now that I finally found it after you guys had to put up with that. Fast forward through the video, I guess, if you didn't want to watch that. Okay, now that's the final button back in. Now we got to put the rubber pad back over everything, which has a few hairs on it. Looks like they had some kind of animal. Clean those off. Not like they cause too much issue, but might as well make sure everything's clean while I got it apart, because I majorly have it apart. Okay, and then we'll get the board back in there. Pull it all down. Oop. Don't want to forget that. Pretty sure they'll use that at some point. Now this goes in a weird location. I'm not 100% sure where that exactly hooks into the system. This is a new add-in, so I'm not as familiar with it. Well, newer add-in. Looks like it hooks somewhere down there, but see, it just slides into place over here. You just maybe hold it into place and then drop the board in over it. No, because that's not going to fit there. It may hook on after the fact. Up the other direction. Let's see. Drop the board back into place. Yeah, this may actually hook to the second board up here. This flips over. Yep, clicks on top. Okay, so we don't have to put that in yet. So this comes in on top of this board and hooks right there on this board. Okay, now we got to trace back our screws, which we have all in a nice little container here, so we don't lose them all. This button hooks on the top, so we don't have to worry about it yet. And this is the smaller screws, which are the T6 ones, which I did at least put the T6 screwdriver back in here so I'm not losing that. I'd rather try to figure out which one it is out of the collection, which I left it a little loose, than try to find it on my workbench, as you see I lose things on my workbench by some weird chance. And I'm bumping you guys again. I didn't count these as I took them out, but there's 1, 2, 3, 4. By this point, I have to say that I give this one a difficulty of probably about an 7. I mean, there's no soldering work or anything. Kind of really big pain in the rear end to have to deal with. But I mean, it's just be gentle and don't do anything too forceful. Of course, you may have different luck, because you could end up not being able to find what circuit needs to be cleaned, or not clean it good enough, and never get a light again. Which is why most people will not tackle any kind of no power water damage. Actually, the store that I work with, they have a low-level tech that does some of the, hey, this button's out of place type stuff, and he looked at this and said, nope. Okay, I think that's all the small screws, so let's give them another count. We got 1 here, 2 here, 3 over here underneath the Microsoft, number 4 down by this second connector over here, number 5 by this first connector, and all the way over here, number 6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those screws to get that board back in. Okay. Okay. Now I believe we can flip this back down. I'll have to run these wires back through at some point, but right now we don't have to worry about them too much. Let these fall back down, hold the thing in place maybe. Get those connectors back together. Let's reconnect power, make sure we're still getting a good connection and still getting that light to come on. Let's blind the camera again. And we're back to not working. Afraid of that. It's like intermittent. Yep. Wonder if I force a jump start by powering it up another way. Or it could be one of these contacts is short and so. Oh, wait, nope, we got it there. Maybe I just wasn't holding it long enough. Pull power and give it another try. That connector seems kind of weird. I wonder if this button got worn out from that, where it was all yucky in there. I might have to go back and take those screws back out again. Yeah, that's weird. I think we might have a worn out connector. And somehow that rubber piece got worn out, I don't know. The board's cracked or something. Yeah, that's real weird. It's working now. Yeah, now it's consistent. Wonder if maybe that rubber piece just didn't fall back into place and I just got it to work its way back in. I mean, with just the rubber piece it was working originally. Nope, see there it went again. I'm shorting something out with my finger when I connect it. See if just tapping the button by itself can do it. Nope, I think my finger might be shorting the connectors out in the back that's powering it on. The button may just never work again. Let's see what connectors we're shorting out here. I think it was my finger was, I kept doing this. I was hitting the button and then I got it to work. And now it's dead again. Yeah, you definitely have something that's still out of place in there. This time we're not getting anything. Yep, nothing now. Oh, you gotta love electronics. Well, I'm probably going to fiddle around with this a little bit more off camera, being that I can't show you a successful repair. And in another repair video I might mention it again, tell you how I fared with it. But I've messed around with it long enough, it's almost probably a waste of time to go too much further. But I may fiddle with it a little bit more. Okay, if you could, subscribe and like, and enjoy my videos hopefully. Have a good one.